Welcome to the Lifetime Assembly channel. My name is Isaac, and today I'm going to help you assemble your 15 by 8 foot outdoor storage shed. Before we get started, make sure the model number of your shed is listed in the description below. This video will follow the steps outlined in the assembly manual that comes with your shed. So if you've already begun and need help on a specific step, check the description below for a timestamp associated with each step. There are steps in this assembly that require 2 people, so make sure you at least have one other adult available to help. Before we get into the assembly process, let's take a look at the tools you'll need to complete the job. You may want to pause the video now so you can gather the supplies shown on the screen. Also, you may see us use an impact driver. If you decide to use one as well, be careful not to over torque or over tighten the hardware. You'll also need additional tools to prepare a foundation for your shed, so refer to your manual to see what other resources you will need. All Lifetime sheds are required to be built on a foundation. We recommend you build your foundation out of concrete, but you can also use lumber. This video is meant to be a companion to the assembly manual, not a direct replacement. So for the best results, have the manual on hand as you complete the job. It is also crucial that you refer to the assembly manual to review the safety instructions of this build to prevent serious injury or property damage. All right, let's get started. This section goes over the requirements for the foundation of your shed. This video will focus on the assembly of the shed and not of the foundation. So refer to your manual in section 1 to see how to properly build a foundation for your shed. If you have questions regarding the foundation, feel free to reach out to our customer service team at the number below. There are 2 different types of gutter channels, one with a notch and one without. For this step, you'll need one of each. Line the holes at the end of the gutter channel with the holes in the connector piece and secure the hardware. Be careful tightening this hardware, you don't want the cap nuts to break. Line the holes at the ends of the truss brace with the holes in the center of the gutter channels and secure the hardware, making sure the head of the bolt is on the inside of the gutter channels. To make tightening this hardware easier, I like to use a Phillips head bit and a pair of vice grips. Insert the truss rod through the connector piece and truss brace and secure with a nut on each end. Only tighten until the truss rod doesn't wiggle. Repeat the previous steps for a second truss assembly, making sure one of the gutter channels has a notch and the other one doesn't. Repeat the previous steps for 2 more truss assemblies, except this time, none of the gutter channels will have a notch. Take the last remaining long gutter channel and the short gutter channel that has a square hole, and line the holes in the end with the holes in the connector piece and secure the hardware. Line the holes the ends of the truss brace with the holes in the center of the long gutter channel and the holes in the end of the short gutter channel. Only secure the truss brace to the long gutter channel, making sure the head of the bolt is on the inside of the gutter channel. Place a vertical truss brace in the short gutter channel, oriented like this. Then line up all the holes and secure the hardware. Only finger tighten this hardware for now. Line the holes at the end of the horizontal truss brace with the holes in the center of the short gutter channel, and the hole in the center with the vertical truss brace. Up to this point, all the bolts that you've been using have been the same size. For this step, there will be one bolt that is shorter. That will be placed here. Then tighten all of the hardware. Insert the truss rod through the connector piece and truss brace and secure the nut on each side. Attach the L bracket to this location on the horizontal truss brace, making sure to add the hardware through the oblong hole. Only finger tighten this hardware for now. Insert the square tube into the square hole, making sure the flat edge is facing towards the horizontal truss brace. Take the gable halves that have a flat edge, line them up in the center, and secure the hardware. Line the holes in the screen with the holes in the vent. Place on the front of the gable and secure the hardware in the back. Take the shorter square tube and insert a cap into each end. Place the tube on the small gable, making sure these dimpled holes are facing the gable and the dimpled hole in the center is facing the bottom of the gable. Then secure the tube to the gable with the hardware. Before you connect the two halves of the gable that have a curve at the bottom, there may be plastic in the holes that you'll have to clear out with a Phillips head screwdriver. Line the panels up in the center and secure the hardware. Line the holes in the screen, the holes in the vent. Place on the front side of the gable and secure the hardware on the back. Take the longer square tube and insert a cap into each end. Place the tube on the gable, making sure these dimpled holes are against the gable and the dimpled hole in the center is facing the bottom of the gable. Secure the tube to the gable, starting the hardware in the center. Then finish securing through the oblong holes. Take a left door, the one with the Lifetime logo, and line the holes in the tube with these holes in the door. Then slide the tube in the bottom of the door, leaving a few inches hanging out at the end. Insert a cap into the end of the tube, then finish sliding the remainder of the way until it's flush with the bottom of the door. Add the latch bracket over these holes oriented like this. Then add the hardware and only finger tighten for now. Locate these divots at the bottom and top of the door and drill them out with the provided drill bit, only going through the first layer of metal. At the bottom of the door, over the holes you just drilled out, place a spacer, making sure you can read the word down. Place the lock over the spacer, making sure it's oriented like this, and then secure the hardware. Repeat at the top of the door, except this time, make sure the spacer reads up. Connect the two halves of the handle together. Place on the front of the door and secure the hardware on the back. There are two sets of hinge tubes, some that are long and some that are short. For this step, you'll need a short hinge tube. Insert the hinge tube into the opposite edge of the door, making sure to leave a few inches hanging out on each end. On the back side of the door, locate this groove around the window. Then insert your butyl tape all the way around. Take a window panel and remove the plastic film from both sides. Place the window on top of the butyl tape, making sure to line up the holes with the divots. Then secure the hardware. Repeat the previous steps for another left door, the one with the lifetime logo, except this time you'll use a longer hinge tube. Take a right door, line up these holes in the tube with these holes in the door. Then slide the tube in the bottom of the door, making sure to leave a few inches hanging out at the end. Insert a cap into the end of the tube, Then finish sliding the remainder of the way until it's flush with the bottom of the door. Secure the tube into place by inserting the self-tapping screw to this divot at the bottom of the door. Add the locking hardware to the door in this order, making sure it's oriented like this. Connect the two halves of the handle together, place on the front of the door, and secure the hardware on the back. When adding the long screws, make sure they go through this bracket oriented like this. Insert a short hinge tube on the opposite edge of the door, making sure to leave a few inches hanging out on each end. On the back of the door, locate this groove around the window, then insert your butyl tape all the way around. Take a window panel and remove the film from both sides. Place the window over the butyl tape, making sure the holes in the window line up with the divots in the door. Then secure the hardware. Repeat the previous steps for another right door, except this time you'll use a long hinge tube. Lay your floor panels out like this. The only orientation of the floor panels that matter are the center two. You want to make sure that the two circular holes are further apart from each other and not on the center seam. Connect the floor panels together by lifting one panel up at an angle, interlocking the tabs, and setting it back down. Secure the panels together by inserting a screw into the 4 divots along each seam. A set of doors will go on a short edge and a long edge. Decide what edges you want your doors on and add a strike plate to the rectangular notch on the panel. Take 7 wall panels labeled AHD and insert a wall support into the center channel, making sure the 2 holes closest together are at the top of the panel. Line the holes up with the divots and secure the hardware. Take the corner panel labeled AGW and place a wall support into this channel, making sure the 2 holes closest together are at the bottom of the panel. Take the corner panel labeled AGY and insert a wall support into this channel, making sure the 2 holes that are closest together go at the bottom of the panel. Take the corner panel labeled AGN and insert a wall support into this channel, making sure the 2 holes that are closest together go at the top of the panel. Take the corner panel labeled AGL and insert a wall support into this channel, making sure the 2 holes that are closest together are at the top of the panel. Take the narrow wall panel labeled CKK and insert a wall support into this channel, making sure the 2 holes that are closest together go at the top of the panel. Take the narrow wall panel labeled CKN and insert a wall support into this channel, making sure the 2 holes that are closest together are at the bottom of the panel. On the long edge that you place your strike plate, count up to the 7th and 8th cutout from this corner and insert the tabs at the bottom of the panel CKN into the cutouts. Slide the panel towards the narrow end of the cutout to lock it in place. I'm comfortable tapping with my foot, but if you're not, use a block and a rubber mallet. Place the tabs at the bottom of the window panel into the cutouts of the floor to the right of the previous panel. Slide the panel towards the previous panel to lock it in place. Make sure the panels are level at the top and secure the panels together through the 5 holes with the hardware. Take the corner panel labeled AGW and insert the tabs into these two cutouts. Slide the panel over to lock it in place. Lean the panel away from the floor, fold in half, line the tabs at the bottom with the cutouts on the floor, and apply downward pressure to lock them in place. If you're having a difficult time getting the tabs to lock into place, place a block under each tab individually and apply downward pressure. Make sure the panels are level at the top and secure with the 5 screws. Add 2 wall panels labeled AHD to this edge using the same method as the window panel. Take the corner panel labeled AGL and add it to this corner using the same method as the first corner. Now add 5 wall panels labeled AHD to this edge. Place corner panel AGN to this corner. Add the corner panel AGY to this corner. Add the other window panel next to the previous panel and secure them together. Then add the narrow wall panel labeled CKK next to the previous panel. Locate the circular holes in each opening and add your bushings going from the bottom up. There are 3 height settings you can choose for your shelf. Those are indicated by these divots here. On these 2 wall supports, add your triangle shelf brackets to the slits at the height you chose. Keep in mind, this shed comes with 2 shelves. So if you want to create the most distance between shelves, choose the lowest and highest height settings. Then insert the screw anchors into the divots at the height you chose on both sides of the shed. Secure the shelf support bracket to the screw anchors, making sure the oblong holes go against the wall. Unfold the shelf and lay it flat on the ground. Add the shelf support tubes to these channels, making sure they click into place. Place the shelf on top of the brackets, making sure the word front is facing the inside of the shed. Now secure the shelf to the brackets using 2 screws each. It may be helpful to have someone on the outside of the shed pushing on the wall to help the holes line up. Now repeat the previous steps for the second shelf. Take the large gable with a flat edge and place it on top of this wall and secure the hardware. Take all the roof panels labeled A, G, Q, and with a Phillips head screwdriver, clear out the plastic in the top 3 holes. To make this process faster, I'm going to use a drill with a Phillips head bit. Take the triangle roof panels BDS and BDR and clear out the holes at the top of the panels. Take a truss assembly that doesn't have a notch on either end and insert into these cutouts closest to the gable. While you continue to hold the truss, have someone else slide a roof panel over the gable and into the gutter channel. You'll know when the roof is in the correct position when the alignment nub lines it with this notch. Secure the roof panel to the wall through the bottom 4 holes. If at any point you're having a hard time getting things to line up, click this link here to see a video on how to line up your roof panels. Then secure to the truss through the bottom 2 holes and to the gable through the bottom 3. Insert the roof support into the notch in the gable and roof panel. Then finish securing the roof panel through the remaining 2 holes. Repeat the previous steps on the opposite side. Repeat the previous steps, adding a truss and 2 roof panels. This time, make sure the truss has a notch in it and it goes in this open cutout. Take the left door, and it's important that you use the one that has the longer hinge tube, and insert into this bushing on the short edge, making sure the hole in the hinge tube lines up with the slit in the bushing. Insert the cotter pin from the outside going in, and then flare the other end to lock in place. Then repeat the previous steps for the right door, making sure again to use the one with the longer hinge tube. Place the large gable with the curve at the bottom on top of the hinge tubes. Line up these holes with the divots in the corner panel and secure the hardware. Add 2 more trusses and 4 more roof panels to this side of the shed using the exact same method you did for the other side of the shed. Take the center truss assembly and insert this end into the cutout in the back wall. Lift the assembly up, line up the holes in the support tube with these holes in the truss, and then secure the hardware. Now add the doors to this edge using the same method you did for the previous doors, except this time make sure that you're using the doors that have the shorter hinge tubes. Place a small gable on top of the hinge tubes, making sure these tabs go into the gutter channels. If you're having a difficult time getting the gable to rest all the way down, it may be because you use the doors with the long hinge tube and you'll have to switch the doors. To make sure that this tab stays in the gutter channel, don't use these doors, but instead use the other set of doors until you get the roof panel on. Make sure the horizontal truss brace rests in this notch on the gable and that the L bracket lines up with this divot. Then secure with the hardware. Then go back and tighten the hardware inside the horizontal truss brace. Add a drainage plate to this location, making sure it's oriented like this and rests in this notch in the gable. Then secure the hardware. Repeat for the other drainage plate on the opposite side. Add 2 roof panels in these locations using the same method as the previous roof panels. Take the large angled roof panel and fold these flaps up, then place it on top of the gable in this location. Now secure the panel to the gable and truss. It may be helpful to have someone on the outside push the panel against the gable as you do this. Then add a screw to this location on the drainage plate to secure the panel. Repeat on the other side. Now place the small angled roof panel on top of the previous panel, securing through these 2 holes. Place the triangle roof panels into these locations, making sure they sit flush with the other panels. Now secure the panels into place through the truss and previous panels. Take a skylight and bend it slightly. Then place an end cap on one end. And then a connector on the opposite edge. Place the skylight on top of the gable and truss, making sure the end cap goes on the outside. Insert the screws into the end cap through these holes on the gable. It may be helpful to have someone on the outside push on the end cap as you do this. Then add 2 screws going through the roof panel into the skylight, being careful not to over tighten the hardware. Take a skylight, bend it slightly, add a connector to one end, then place on top of the truss, connecting to the previous skylight. It may be difficult to get the skylight in the previous connector, but just be patient, you can do it. Repeat the previous steps for another 3 skylights. Keep in mind, you won't be using any hardware just yet. Take the last skylight, bend it slightly, and add the end cap. Then place it on top of the gable and truss, making sure the end cap goes on the outside, then press it into the previous connector. Then secure the end cap to the gable through these 2 holes. Again, it might be helpful to have someone on the outside pushing on the end cap as you do this. Finish securing each skylight through these locations. Take these clips and insert them into these holes in the back wall, making sure the arrow points up. Add the gap flaps to the doors on the short edge, making sure they're oriented like this. Take a window panel and remove the plastic from each side. Place the window into the frame, making sure the lip is at the top and facing the inside of the shed. Then insert the small screw into the small hole at the bottom of the window. Add the latches to these locations, making sure the screws are loose so they can slide freely. Repeat this process for the other window. Next to the window, you'll find 4 divots on each side. Insert these screws into each divot. Place a shutter, oriented like this, onto these screws, making sure the screws go into these divots. Then have someone on the inside tighten each screw individually until it's secured on the wall. Add the shutters next to the other window using the same process. Your shed comes with 12 wall hooks. They can go anywhere throughout the shed in these recesses. Next, you need to make sure that your doors are level. Click on this link here to see a video, or refer to your manual in section 13 to see how to properly level your doors. Now that your doors are level, go inside the shed, have someone lock the door behind you, and finish securing the hardware on both left doors. This section goes over how to anchor your shed to your foundation. Since we're indoors, we're not going to be able to do that, but it's important that you do. So refer to your manual in section 14 to see how to properly anchor your shed to your foundation. Thank you for watching this video on how to assemble your lifetime 15 by 8 foot outdoor storage shed. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up. For more content like this, subscribe to our channel. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to our customer service team and check out our other amazing products at lifetime.com.